loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of another weekly reading vlog, and this week we're getting festive with some Christmas murder mysteries. I am so excited for this. It's something I've been looking forward to pretty much all year. Since I did this last year as a themed weekly reading vlog for December, I have been so excited to do another one, and I will continue to do it every single year. But before I get into the two books I'm going to be reading for this video, I want to talk to you about a brand that I absolutely love, which is perfect for this festive time, and that is Ana Luisa. Now, I've spoken about them before and I am lucky enough to be working with them yet again, so thank you so much, Ana Luisa. But they are an amazing online jewelry company with a really good mission statement about sustainability, which is something that I find really important. It's really important we look after the planet and we give back as much as we're taking from it, and Ana Luisa really strives to do that, as well as still providing some really high quality pieces of jewelry that are humidity tested, tarnish resistant, hyperallergenic, and sometimes even use recycled materials where possible. And I just think it's amazing. I love my pieces from them. I wear them consistently. They go with absolutely everything, and I have two more pieces to be able to show you. So if you are after some ideas for some gifts for others or yourself, then do check them out. But this time I went for a beautiful little gold ring, which I am in love with. It is so dainty and delicate. I will do some close-ups to put in. I just think it is gorgeous. It is such a lovely piece. I also am really enjoying matching my gold and silvers together. Like, I actually really like this. But this is part of a stacking selection, so you can always get some other rings to stack with this and make a really unique piece. I am definitely going to treat myself for. And then I have this beautiful gold bangle. This I absolutely love. Really wanted to try something completely different, something that's really bold and different. Like, I really like this curve to it, and it's beautiful. Also, this is a one size snug fit for me, which I actually really prefer because it stays there. It's beautiful. It's a really nice statement piece for me. I really love this. I'm really happy with both the pieces that I got this time, and they pair really well to the two necklaces. I love Ana Luisa, and I'm pretty sure you can tell. But yes, if you are on the market for any gift, whether that's for yourself or for your loved ones, they are still having their holiday sale, so do check them out. I will have the link in the description below, and thank you again so much for Ana Luisa for working with me for this video. Also, their packaging is perfect. It's pretty much gift wrapped for you, so you can just put a little bow on it and you're good to go, which I love that because I don't know about you, but I kind of hate wrapping presents. Moving on from that, I do have the two books that I'm going to be reading for this week. I have a short story Agatha Christie collection, which I'm really excited about. This is The Adventures of the Christmas Pudding, and I do believe there are 6 short stories in here that are a mixture from Hercule Poirot, Miss Marple. Yeah, so there's 6 in here, and my plan for this is just to read one a day. I think that's going to be a great way to do it. Maybe just before bed, sit down and read a short story. Seem to be mixing in lengths, so the first one is just over 60 pages long, but then we have another one that's only 20 pages long, so we've got a mixture of lengths in here. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's also what I'm doing every year, is reading a different Agatha Christie book that takes place around Christmas. So yeah, very much looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be great, and I do love a short story collection. And then the other book that I'm going to be pairing with it is one that I picked up secondhand, and that is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. I mentioned this in my TBR game. This is a book I've had mixed reviews on, but I'm intrigued to give it a try. This one is taking place over the 12 days of Christmas. We have Lily, who is our main character. She is lured back to her grand family home by her aunt, I think it is. Yes, her aunt, urging her to take part in an annual tradition, the Christmas game. The challenge: solve 12 clues, find 12 keys. The prize: the deed to the manor house. But Lily has zero desire to return to the house because I think it was, is it 12 Christmases ago? No, 21 Christmases ago, her mother died. She was murdered, but her aunt makes her the promise that this year they are going to find the murderer. And this game turns deadly. I'm really intrigued. I think this is going to be really fun to read. Yeah, I think because it's done over 12 days, again, to pair with reading this over 6 days, I might do, I have to see if the book is split into day 1, day 2. If it is, oh, we've got a family tree. Let me see. I just want to see. Oh, okay, it's not. Doesn't look like it is. It's starting on Christmas Eve. Well, I was going to say that if this was split into different days, that I would read 2 days. Well, hang on a minute. We've got Christmas Day here. Oh, okay, so it's going across from Christmas Eve to New Year's. Interesting. The 9th. Okay, so this isn't split evenly, so I'm not going to do my original idea. That was a bit of a faffing moment, but originally I thought if this is split over 12 days of Christmas, then I can read 2 days per day across the 6 days and finish these up both at the same time, which would have been great. The book's not quite split in that way to make it even, so we'll just see. We'll just see. I think maybe we'll just see how far we get into this and read it across the week. It would have been so cool if it was the other way, but never mind. So yeah, those are the 2 books I'm reading this week. I'm very excited. For now though, I've got a few things to do. I want to do some food, do some editing, go from there, start the books. I will catch up with you once I've actually read some of these books. Very excited for it. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you're all doing really, really well. I hope you have an amazing Christmas because this video is coming out just before Christmas. I hope you have an amazing Christmas. Let's get started. Quite a lot to talk about today because I have started 3 books, DNF'd 1, also picked up a new book, so let's just get straight into it, shall we? Starting off with, we should probably start off with the DNF, and that is the Christmas Murder Game. I'm kind of disappointed. I just couldn't get into the writing style of this one, so I actually really like the premise of this. I think the premise is really good. It actually reminded me a lot of How to Solve Your Own Murder, which I read last month for the Discord book club pick, and that in that one we're following a main character whose great aunt has requested her presence for this will announcement. The will basically says, hey, whoever solves my murder gets the deeds to the house, and her aunt actually dies when she's there. In this one, it's kind of a similar thing in a way because we have an aunt that's just died, not a great aunt, but an aunt that's just died, and it's saying in a letter, hey, this is my last request, and I'm requesting that you go to this house, play the Christmas game, and that way you will find out who murdered your mum. And also get the deeds to the house. So it's very similar setup, different because this is more like Christmas game style, whereas the other one was a bit more like cutthroat. Quite a few people are after this house. There's a lot of things going on. It's not like game based, whereas this has actual games in it that they have to try and solve. They just take a darker turn. So the premise is fine. My problem is the writing style. It was very, I feel kind of rude saying it, but almost really basic. Felt like all the characters were really flat and then everything was really forced about them. So the main character that we're following is Lily, and she purposely keeps herself away from others. Her mum, she always thought committed suicide, and she just hasn't ever processed that properly. So when she gets this invitation and then saying, hey, you're gonna find out what actually happened and the fact that your mum was murdered, she is then dealing with a lot of stuff. But I don't know, a lot of it feels very forced. It's very repetitive. The conversation between characters felt very forced. If it was just the one thing, I could get past it, but because it's the writing style, I know it's going to be the same throughout. And I did try and read, I think it was like up to page 40 something, before I just thought, you know what, I'm not getting into the writing style of this, and I do not want to hit a reading slump, which I can definitely feel myself getting into. I have been reading or like sampling lots of different books ready for Bash the Booktuber, which I promise I'm going to be stopped talking about soon. That has meant that I have started lots of different things and not finished them, and I just am really craving a book that I'm gonna finish, like start and finish all the way through, but I also just want it to be fun and light. I don't want anything too dark and heavy and serious. I'm actually really in the mood for a romance, which I'm so pleased that my Relax and Readathon is happening in a few days time, because I do have a Christmas romance on there, so I'm very excited to get to that book. But I just wanted, I still want to read a murder mystery, like I really do, but I wanted it to be just one that I'm enjoying, one that is just a fun, easy read. This is not it. I'm not liking the writing style, so I was like, you know what, rather than forcing myself through this, we're gonna leave it. And I had lots of different options for another book to take place. I did consider the Benjamin Stevenson book. I think everyone in my family has a secret, and it's a Christmas one. I was really tempted to get that because it's only $3.99 on Kindle currently, and it's a nice short book. Then I remembered the book I read last year for the Christmas murder mystery, which was Murder at Mistletoe Manor or something, and this was really good. This was by Benedict Brown. This is part of a series, but you can read the Christmas ones out of order, so if you're looking for just a Christmas cozy mystery standalone, you can read that and it's absolutely fine. And I really enjoyed it, and I said to myself, I'm gonna read more of this series, and then I never did, but I remembered it and I thought, I wonder if there's another Christmas murder mystery, and there's actually a few. So I decided to start The Snows of Weston Moor by Benedict Brown. It's part of the Lord Eddington Investigate series, and it's set in the 1920s. It's got a lot of callbacks to the Golden Age crime genre. Like, I'm just loving it. It's like, it's very reminiscent of Agatha Christie. I say Agatha Christie because she's the only Golden Age author I have read from. I do hope to rectify that going forward. I love it. It's so much fun. It's so easy to read. I'm not far into it. I had hoped to be further into it, but to be fair, I only started it last night and I read like 10 pages. Then I thought I'd read it on my lunch break at work. That didn't happen because instead my brother came to see me for my lunch break instead, so I haven't got far. I'm only up to chapter 4, page 30, and they're just so easy to read. They're free on Kindle Unlimited. Even if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, they're pretty cheap, and it's just reminded me again, I really need to get reading this series because I think it's so underrated. It's such a fun little series, so I really want to make some effort to actually read more of this series going forward, and I am enjoying this Christmas one. So it is done as a standalone. There are other books leading up to it, so I think this one is book 8 in the series, but you can read it out of order. There are no spoilers for any of the other books. I will say some of the setting kind of remind me a little bit of the Mystery at Mistletoe Manor, just in some of the things, like talking about the fact that we have Christopher, who is kind of this understudy of his grandfather, who was this detective, and his grandfather loves fast cars. And there is a scene where they're traveling to this place where they're going to be spending Christmas, and it really reminded me of the same conversation we had about his grandfather's love for fast cars. Very similar. Almost felt a little bit like it was almost copy and paste, but I don't think it actually was. I think it was just very similar, which is fine because again, these are done as Christmas standalones. You're only reading them once a year. Like, it doesn't really matter. But I don't know, I just really like it. I like the humor in this one. I like the interactions between the different characters, and it just feels very easy, warm-hearted coziness that I was really wanting, that unfortunately this book just wasn't giving me. So I'm going to continue on with this one instead, and I'm really happy with it. Definitely want to read more of this series because there's quite a few books out, and I just think it'd be really good, and then save the other Christmas one for Christmas time next year. I would love to say to you I would read enough of this series that I would be up to date by that time, but I'm also really slow at continuing series, so I'm not going to make that promise, but the promise is I would definitely be reading this one, the next Christmas one, at Christmas time next year, because I genuinely love it. I will also add on, if I can get time, I would also love to add on the Benjamin Stevenson book, because I think it's going to be really good. I know I like this series, and with it only being $3.99 on Kindle, I am very happy to just pick this one up. So I would like to still read it, and maybe even if I don't read it in this vlog, I may still just read it during the month of December anyway, because yeah, I really like it. And let's face it, these sort of Christmas mysteries, the only time you're going to read them is at Christmas, so you know, in the month of December. So yeah, those are the updates on that one, and what I've DNF'd and then decided to change to, and yeah, I'm really happy with that. And then of course I've been reading the short story collection. So I have, okay, technically read 2, in reality read 1. Yesterday I didn't read much at all. I've been very tired after work. Like, December is the busiest time at work, working at a station, and it's coming up to Christmas and the weather is awful. It's just a busy time, and then it's also the busiest time for YouTube because I've got so much stuff I need to do. I've also got other plans in place that I really want to put into action. To be honest, if I'd thought this all through, I would have done a lot more work in November when I had some time off, and I don't have any time off in December, well, apart from my usual days off. So it's a bit of a busy one, so I really didn't read much yesterday, but when I first started this vlog, I did read the first short story, which is The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding, and it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I also really liked this introduction by Agatha Christie. I always want to say Miss Marple, but no, Agatha Christie. Really loved the introduction, really loved the layout of how she's doing all of this, and I just thought this short story was really fun, and it's actually one I solved. Okay, it was really obvious. It was so obvious this is where it's going, and again, these are just cozy Christmassy ones. They're not ones that are meant to be really difficult to solve. I'm counting it as a win because I actually solved it, and this is the first, I'm pretty sure it's my first Agatha Christie I've ever solved, so I am taking that. It was so much fun. I loved the Christmassy setting. It was really well done. But then I decided to jump around. I was initially going to read them all in order, but I decided to jump around, and I decided to then do the shortest one yesterday because I was so tired and I still want to read one a day, which was the 4 and 20 Blackbirds, which was only 20 pages long. However, as I started reading it, I realized, hang on a minute, this is really similar, like really similar. I swear I just read this, and I have, because it's in the Autumn Chills collection. So I did check the Midwinter Murders to see if any of these short stories had crossover, which they don't, but apparently it does with this one. So that's really interesting that we have a short story that Agatha Christie put in here for Christmas that we also have in here for autumn. Interesting. So I decided not to reread that one just because I've read this one so recently. I know the story. I know exactly what happened. We'll just take that as a win. We've technically done our 2 for the week so far, but technically haven't. So we have the third one to do today. I think again I'm going to go for a slightly shorter one. I might go for the last one. Oh no, actually I'm going to go for number 5, The Dream, because this one is 34 pages long, so I think I'm going to read that one today. Busy day at work. I just really want to just chill, and honestly I'm really looking forward to just reading on my Kindle and reading some of The Snows of Western Moor. I'm really looking forward to just sitting with my Kindle. So I'm going to read The Dream today is the plans, but I'm enjoying this and I just think it's really fun and cute, and honestly reading these murder mystery books just before Christmas, perfect choice. Really enjoying it. Those are the reading news. I do have loads of other things that I'm technically in the middle of, which I mentioned last week, but I've kind of put a stop to all of that. I am technically reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which I've left in the front room. I will probably read some of that on my days off. Will I? No, because I'm incredibly busy. Maybe. I think I'm probably going to get back to it next week. It's a reread. I'm loving it. We know I'm loving it. And then I mentioned last week that I'm in the middle of 2 other ebooks. I've decided to put them on hold. I'm interested in finishing them. It's not happening right now. Like, I'm too tired. I want to focus in on my Christmas murder mysteries instead. And then after that, to be honest, I'm just in too much of a Christmas mood. So those are going to be DNFs for now, which for those of you who are interested was The Cage of Souls by Adrian Chutosky, which is a sci-fi that I'm actually really enjoying. I think I want to save it for January because I'm in such the festive spirit and I've got so many wintry books on my TBR. I really want to read those, and I will get back to this one. And then I've also got Head Like a Hole, whose author, I know it has Van in it, but Van D. Wade something, which is a horror book, which again I would like to finish at some point, but probably not for now because I've kind of feel like made some decisions with what I'm doing for Better the Booktuber, and this was one for Better the Booktuber, and again I'm just not in the mood for this right now. So I really just want to focus in on my December reads, get those done. I do have Miss Benson's Beetle, which I'm in the middle of, which I honestly would love to finish out before the end of the year, and I feel like this would be a really nice, cute, heartwarming book to read, so I would like to read that. And then I do also have another book that I'm reading that I mentioned last week that I was meant to be reading for a book club, but which is the meeting of that is tomorrow, but I honestly don't have time to go, and I haven't finished the book. I've barely made any more progress than what I said last week, so I'm not going to read with that one either. But yeah, so I'm not going to be continuing on with this one just yet. It's one I'm really interested in, really liking the Dracula parallels. I do want to continue it, it's just the mood is not there, and I think it's just because I'm tired, and I know the rest of this month I'm going to be tired. I'm going to save all of those for the new year, and I think that'll be fine with those 3 books. Updates on what I'm in the middle of. I'm in the middle of a lot of different things, but it's fine. But I do have one new book to add to the collection, which came in today, and I'm so excited. So after work I went to my local bookshop and popped in to collect it. Doesn't she look pretty? Oh, I love it so much. This is Sword Crossed by Freya Marske. Now if you, again, last week's video I finished out, oh my god, look at the pink end papers. Oh, I finished out the Marvelous Light trilogy. I finished Is Here. Ooh, they're kind of similar, but I loved this book so freaking much. It's now put Freya Marske as an author by author because I love this series so much. It was fantastic. So yeah, once I was really close to finishing that, I allowed myself to get this one ordered in for me. I want to read it. I want to read it so bad. Oh, I'm so excited. And the problem is I'm actually in a romance mood. I'm really in the mood for romance. Enjoying my murder mysteries 100%, but I also know I could probably drop everything and just read romance. But I don't want to because I actually really want to read my Christmas murder mysteries, so I'm gonna hold off. This may get read in December because I'm just so excited. I have an amazing December TBR. I really do. I'm really excited for all of it, but I think there is one book on there, let me grab it, which is The Magician's Daughter, that I'm really tempted to swap out for this, but this was voted on Discord and it's one that's been recommended to me by Danny, so I probably will still read this one because I am really intrigued. I'm just really excited for this, like so excited. I haven't even said what it's about. I don't even know what it's about. I just know I wanted to read it. It's a romance, fantasy, queer. Didn't really need to know anything else. But the reality is I'm probably gonna read this one maybe towards the end of December. I think what I'm gonna do is say that I can read this after I finish reading Magician's Daughter. Once I've done that, then I can read this, and it'll be a good little treat to get a book that I've been meaning to read for ages off my TBR. I know I'm gonna love this because it's cozy fantasy, and then I can read this. Which, why am I telling you all this in this particular vlog? I don't know. I'm chalking it up to the fact that I'm extremely tired. I have all of these plans. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, and now you're just getting all of it because this is what I do when I'm tired. Welcome to the rambles. Or, you know, if you're used to them, then thanks for continuing to put up with them. This sounds amazing. I'm really excited. I'm just gonna do this little tiny bit here, which is a dutiful heir, a roguish swordsman, a plot that could ruin them both. Oof, this sounds so much fun. I'm very excited, and we've got like pink foiling. Ooh, pretty. Yeah, very excited for this. Am I upset that hardbacks are getting more and more expensive? Yes, but this is worth it. That's how the Murder Mystery Week is going. One DNF, unfortunately, but we've started an ebook, which I'm really loving. Continuing on with my short story collection, which I'm also really liking. And then an update just on my reads in general. Thank you for listening to my ramble, a 20-minute clip just of nonsense, really, but I hope you enjoyed it. Right now I'm actually hungry. I'm just gonna do some food. Oh my gosh, yesterday the halloumi, oh, I love it. I love that halloumi bake so freaking much. Like, I genuinely do love it. It's a really nice spicy tomato sauce, but with the honey that you add in at the last bit, it just brings it all together with the saltiness, the sweet, and the spice. Oh, and I decided to do it with some potato because I was extra hungry yesterday, and just to have it just bulk it out a little bit more, and it was lovely. I've got a little bit of it left, and I have some filled pasta, so I think what I'm gonna do is just do that together. So yeah, really excited for that, which I'm now making myself even more hungry just thinking about it, which I need to go and do some food. I also need to start editing my cozy vlog because again, I realized how much freaking stuff I've got to edit and get ready in this small period of time. Don't know why I'm doing it to myself. Well, I'm doing it to myself because I love it. I enjoy it so much. I enjoy being on this community. I love chatting with you all about books and being able to just nerd out over everything. Like, oh, just so you know, if no one's told you today, you are amazing. I appreciate you so freaking much. I'm gonna go now. Chaotic, unplanned update, which means I'm at my most chatty and make the least amount of sense. So we're just gonna hope that this comes out okay. I am in my super comfy after work clothes because I've literally just got home from work and sat straight down to edit and also started putting dinner on, which is now in the oven, which was the b-roll before this, which I'm making a cauliflower cheese. Well, technically at this point it's just a vegetable cheese, and I'm gonna do some like hash brown potato things with it. I have cooked way too much though because it is just for me, but that'll be nice for the next couple of days. I can just reheat it for lunch or something. But anyway, the point of me coming in here is I thought I was pretty much halfway through the Snows on the Western Moor or whatever it's called. Turns out I'm not 50% of the way through. I'm actually only 34% of the way through, but I have read almost 100 pages. I'm now up to chapter 14, page 97. And I guess the main reason why I wanted to update at this point is because this book went in a completely different direction to what I thought it was going to go in. So we met all the characters, and that little bit where I'd spoken to you where we got like 30 pages in and I said, okay, they're off to Cornwall. I genuinely thought the mystery, the murder mystery would be there. It's not. It's on the way. And I was really surprised and I really liked it. So we're currently at this house that's full of actors and actresses, and there has been a murder, but Lord Eddington and Christopher are pretending that they are not detectives, and they've come up with this absolutely hilarious backstory about being Lord Owl, where the L is silent, and it's just silly. And Christopher is now known as Christopher Christopherson. It's a fun time. It's really silly, and I am intrigued and I'm curious to see who has done the deed, which I actually don't know. So yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with this, and it really is doing well with the wintry vibe. Christmas a little bit, yes, definitely at the start of this book we had a lot about Christmas carols, setting up a Christmas tree and stuff, so definitely the start of the book felt a lot more Christmassy. At this place where they are, it's not that Christmassy at all, and Christopher takes it upon himself to be like, right, well, we need to first of all make this more festive because it's Christmas time and you're all acting like it doesn't even exist. He kind of takes control, and then the murder happens, and now we're going to be going from there. And that's the point where I'm at, where the murder has just happened, and I'm enjoying it. It's just a lot of fun. Do I have any suspects? No. We have, I think we've got 3 ladies and I think 4 gentlemen. I feel like the evidence is skewing one way to one particular woman, but I don't know if it's actually gonna be her. So I'm really intrigued. I'm keeping everything open at the minute. We'll just see how it all goes. I genuinely don't know, and I've done such a terrible job of explaining everything, but it's just fun. It's really fun. And it's also, I really like the dynamic between Lord Eddington and Christopher and just how they interact with one another. Like there's so much banter, but it's also really nice familial love that they have for one another, which I really like. And Christopher is taking quite pride of place that he actually knows all these people, or at least the main things that are going on, because he keeps up with the gossip in newspapers, which I thought was really fun. I really like it. It's really fun, really easy. I genuinely thought I was halfway through, which I'm not, but I do plan on reading more of this today. I really want to get it finished, like ideally. So, my Relax and Readathon, did I mention this? I don't know, but my Relax and Readathon was meant to be this Saturday, which I'm thinking I would like to still start it Saturday, but it won't be starting Saturday morning, it'll be Saturday evening. So I would love to be able to say I'm gonna finish this by Saturday, but considering it's Thursday evening, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know, how many pages have I got left actually? So I'm on 97 of 259, so I've got what, 162 pages left to go? Sort of doable between today and I would say tomorrow, but my partner's coming around tomorrow evening and we're planning to just have a really chill time. He's gonna do some cooking and we're just gonna relax. Maybe I'll see if there's any films. I don't know, I don't really watch films at all, so it takes us like an hour to choose what we're gonna watch. But I did get this recommendation from my friend at work, which, hang on, because I was talking to him about Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. He loves listening to audiobooks and he was asking me about what I'm currently reading, and I keep him up to date with all of things, which he thinks some of the stuff I read is just wild and he finds it very fascinating. He did recommend The Prestige. He said that this would be really good. It's kind of like that Victorian setting. We've got magicians and stuff in here. So I might see if my partner's interested in watching that. That might be good. I'll see what he's in the mood for, because that would be really nice. Don't know if anybody's seen this film, The Prestige. I'll put up an image here. Yeah, if I watch it, I'll give you my thoughts on it, but it sounds interesting. But back to book news. But yeah, right, so that's what I was saying. So yeah, so because of that, I don't think I'm gonna get this finished, which means I'll probably push back the readathon till Sunday and do it Sunday and just have a full Sunday day where I've finished this vlog. I've got a day before I then start the next weekly read and vlog, which I feel like will be a nice way to wrap it all up. However, due to scheduling things, that Relax and Readathon vlog would have come out before this. You would have already seen that. So I'm going on about, oh, it might have changed it. You're gonna know that because I will say that in the intro. And also thank you to anyone that joins in on Discord. I had a few people taking a part across the month, keeping us updated with what they're doing and things, which I just think, it's so good. I'm so happy with it. Thank you. But yes, okay, the video for that would have been out already. I'll have it linked in the description below. You'll have to let me know if you took part and all of that stuff. But yeah, and then the short story collection, which I'm having so much fun with. So yesterday I did read The Dream, and again I kind of solved this, sort of. I mean, I feel like I did, because okay, let me explain. So we have this main character, Hercule Poirot, is called out to sea and he is told, I keep having this reoccurring dream, which I'm not going to get into what it is about. But when we get there and like the murder happens and everything, we meet these people and immediately I was like, no, that seems sus. I reckon there's something going on between those two. Did I think they did the murder? No. So I'm gonna say I solved like 50% of this because I guessed what was going on. I did think it would be one person in the duo, but it was actually the other person. Does it still work though? I'm gonna give myself 50%, which is pretty good. And I did come away feeling pretty smug yesterday evening, going, I've sold another one. And then I promptly went to sleep at 9 o'clock last night because I was exhausted, as we know. So I literally read, I think for about 40 minutes on this. I then got myself ready for bed, read The Dream, and went straight to sleep. I was so tired, but I feel so much better today, which you can probably tell from the energy. Maybe, I don't know. But I've got some editing done that I wanted to get done today. I may do a little bit more, we'll see, because that way the more I do today, the less I have to do another day. We'll see how I feel after I've actually done dinner and washed up. It might be at that point I'm like, you know what, I've washed up, I'm done for the day, which is honestly how I see it. So then I might just go to reading, which I don't know which one to read. So the ones that we've got left, we have The Mystery of the Spanish Chest, which in the introduction Agatha Christie said that it was Hercule Poirot's case that he, hang on a minute, where's the actual, The Mystery of the Spanish Chest may be described as a Hercule Poirot special. It is a case in which he considers he was at his best. And then Greenshaw's Folly is about Miss Marple, who in her turn, Miss Marple has always been pleased with her precipitancy in Greenshaw's Folly. Do I go with The Mystery of the Spanish Chest, which is about 40 pages long. No, 50 pages long. I always keep doing that. It's 58 pages long. Or do I go with Grenshaw's Folly, which is about 40 pages long, but I do still have The Underdog, which is the longest one. Because I'm thinking tomorrow morning, I'm going to start off my day with reading a short story. Okay. We're planning it out. You're with me. We can do this. I'm going to, tomorrow morning, start off my day reading Grenshaw's Folly with a nice hot drink. I think that's the way, and then that's my reading done for tomorrow, because I don't think I'm going to get any more of this. The plan is we will read more of the ebook tonight and then finish it Saturday night. Tomorrow we will read Grenshaw's Folly, and then I think tonight, because I'm still a bit tired, I've still been up early, I will read The Mystery of the Spanish Chest tonight, and then we'll round out the week on Saturday with reading The Underdog, because that's the longest one, and Saturday would have been off, so I've been able to do it. I think that's a good plan. We have planned out the reading. I'm so excited. I'm having such a good time with my mystery book, and then going into a Christmas romance. I think it's going to be the perfect way to round up everything on the lead up to Christmas. And for next week, I am planning to read First Frost, which is going to be a beautiful way to finish out, like, going into the new year with this really whimsical, magical story. I think it's going to be perfect. That's kind of what I've got in mind. We're going to see if it actually flows that way, but yeah, okay, I'm loving this. At this point though, I need to check on my dinner, so I'm going to go and do that, and I'll catch up with you at some point. I have had a very relaxing morning. I did exactly what I said I was going to this morning, and I read Grenshaw's Folly, which I had a lot of fun with, and I solved it. I was so impressed with myself. I was like, oh yeah, look at me go, solving another one. It wasn't one that I remembered reading anywhere else, but then I was thinking to myself, just before this update, I thought maybe I should double check, because I have quite a lot of short story collections by Agatha Christie, and I did. I double checked the Miss Marple one, not in there, double checked the autumn and summer, not in there, but it is in the spring collection, which was like, wait. I mean, I get it, because there are only so many short stories, and at the end of the day, we have lots of different collections, and some of the short stories in here are brand new, are ones that I haven't read from before, as has happened for the second time now. I have a short story collection that I have already read before. Now, I am going to give myself some slack for this one, because this short story collection I didn't read this year. I read it last year in spring, so spring 2023, so I don't actually remember a lot of the stories that are in this one, but yes, it is in here. And so it's one of those things where I'm like, do I still give myself the point? Because I did guess who did it. I didn't guess how they did it, but I did guess who did it. I mean, I was reading it as if it was the first time, because I didn't remember it, but I feel like I can't give myself a full point, because technically it is a reread. So I'm going to give myself 3/4 of a point, and we're just going to go with that. But I did really enjoy it. I thought it was really fun. It was really nice to read while I had my hot drink and some toast this morning. Honestly, if I thought about it, I would have done a little b-roll of making the hot drink and everything, and it would have been really nice. I was just more interested in having a hot drink and reading my book than anything else, and I did enjoy it. Now, last night's one, The Mystery of the Spanish Chest, was it called? The Spanish Chest Mystery? Something like that. Something to do with the Spanish Chest. The Mystery of the Spanish Chest, I did not guess at all. I feel like there were definitely clues, definitely hints towards it, especially very explicit hints at Othello by Shakespeare. I have read the manga classic version of Othello, which this is actually, I really like these, because basically all it does is it just takes all the dialogue from the Shakespeare play and then puts it into manga format. So it is really good for learning Shakespeare, learning what actually goes on in the play. If you don't like reading it in the play format, I would really recommend these, especially because I know Shakespeare's done a lot at school, so or definitely here in England, I'm not sure about otherwise. It's a really handy tool, I think. Now, I have read this one again, it was a couple years ago, so I didn't really remember the plot line to it. I just know I have read it, I know it's a bit of a, I think it's a revenge story or something, but that was mentioned in here, and I feel like if you have a more up-to-date knowledge of Othello and the things that happen, I feel like you could have solved it more easily, maybe. So for me, again, giving no details away here, but I thought that the person who did it was somebody else, and yet I couldn't quite get the reason why they would have done it. It didn't quite match up with anything. If I had continued on that train of thought and thought to myself, okay, it doesn't matter the reasoning why. Who else would have had this reasoning why? I feel like I could have got there eventually, but I was too tired. I didn't want to think about it too much. And okay, I'm just trying to give myself excuses here. Alright, we were on a roll, but I didn't solve it. But I did enjoy it. But I will say that these two short stories that I have read weren't very Christmas themed at all. And I think that's kind of like the theme that I'm noticing with this collection, is the only one that's actually been Christmas themed for me is the first one, which is The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding. The rest haven't seemed very Christmassy. The one I've got left is The Underdog. I don't know if that's going to be Christmas themed. I think I'm also going to double check for the other short stories to see if they are in the other seasonal collections that I have, but just in different seasons. And that's been interesting as well, that we have this Christmas collection. I thought there'd be more crossover with the actual winter seasonal collection, but the winter seasonal collection, there is no crossover between these two. But apparently there is between spring and autumn, so it'd be really interesting to see if there are more crossovers or not. I might do that. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the start of my day, starting off with this. I'm really enjoying having a short story collection to read. I mean, I've been talking about this a lot this year. That's something I've realized about my reading, is I really like having a short story collection on the go to be able to read slowly, or in this case over the course of a week for a video. It's been really nice to do. It's something I want to track more of, and I am thinking about maybe doing like a video where I go through the ones that I have read and would recommend, and also the ones that I've got left on my TBR to read, because I actually have quite a few short story collection. And as much as I am planning to do every season to read a short story collection, I do have more. So if I'm only doing 4 a year, well, that's going to take me a little while to get through all my short story collections, and I will keep buying them because, like I say, I do enjoy a good short story collection. So I'm thinking I'm going to add in a tracker to my reading journal. Now, so we're going on a slight journal tangent here, and also this lighting is not the best. Like, you wouldn't think it's 9 a.m. right now. You really wouldn't think it, but also this kind of gives me nostalgia for Christmas, like when I was young and you would wake up and it's still dark out and all the lights are on, and honestly the lights don't really go off because it gets so grim here in England across winter. The nostalgia is feeling correct for the Christmas reading week. Back to the journal tangent. So I am planning to do a journal setup for next year a lot more in depth than what I did for this year. So I have had a year of changing up how I track all my reading as well. So I used to use Corpal, but I just stopped using that. I've not been interested. It doesn't track all the things I want it to track, and some of the things it tracks I'm not interested in tracking. A whole thing with that. Plus I don't do star ratings, so I found that kind of useless. I have been updating Goodreads in the last couple of months, but that will be stopping once the end of December hits, because that's only for Battle of the Booktuber and my fellow competitors, so it's a little bit easier for them to know what I've read and what I liked about it. So going forward, I am going to be using my reading journal a lot more in depth, and the yearly spread, there's going to be more of them, and one of the things I want to track is the format of the book, how I've read it, and the genre. It would be really interesting to see, because that's something I wanted to go over in like an end of year video where I do my top books of the year, and then also go over some like interesting things that have happened in my reading this year. But I found it really awkward because I had to go back through and manually count the different genres of the books and things to then see. So it'll be a lot easier if I just have a spread for it all. So I'm thinking in that spread, it's not just going to be physical ebook and then the genres and like whether it's translated or not. It's also going to be, or like how many translated I read, but also how many short stories I read a month. I feel like would be really good to put in there. I would love to be reading at least like maybe 6 to 7 short story collections a year would be really nice, because I do enjoy them so much. So I can have the bigger short story collections for my season, and then maybe have like 1 or 2 smaller ones that I manage to fit in throughout the year as well. I don't know, I think it's going to be really good. I love reading short story collections, and you know, just the Agatha Christie ones has been this year. That's been my main short story reading. I think, yeah, my main. I've read one other, I think, but my main short story reading has been Agatha Christie, which has been amazing. I've at least been continuing on with my Agatha Christie reads in some way, because I have not read as much of the actual Miss Marple books as I wanted to this year, because I do have my end stretch goal eventually to have read every single Agatha Christie book, which is a massive goal to be undertaken, but one that I'm very excited about. But yeah, it's been really fun to just have a year of reading Agatha Christie short stories. It's been brilliant. I think this is my 4th short story collection that I've read this year. No, it will be my 4th, because I'm also reading the winter mysteries. I read the summer, autumn, will be reading the winter, and I'm reading this Christmas one. So that'll be my 4th Agatha Christie short story collection, which I just think is great. I just really love it. I just think there's something so nice about having a little short story collection, and I do think short stories can be done really, really well and really effectively. That's that tangent aside. As we saw, I did have my bath, and while I was in my bath, I was relaxing and I was reading some more of the Snows at Western Moor, and I got to... where did I get to? Chapter 19, page 129. So I actually didn't read much. I read 30 pages. So yeah, it wasn't much, but I do have a doctor's appointment this morning, so I'm going to be bringing my Kindle with me so I can just read while I'm waiting for my appointment there. Just a routine one, nothing major, and just see how I get. I'm now 47% of the way through, so hopefully I can get this read. I've only got 130 pages left of this book. We'll see how much of this I get read and hopefully finishing it up tomorrow. So far, I do have a person that I suspect. I'm confident in my suspicions, but also I could be terribly wrong. We will find out together. Will I tell you who I think it is? No, in case I am correct, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but I have a feeling it is this particular person, but I'm not sure if it's right or not. I feel like what's happening is we're being pushed in one direction for one person, and I don't think it's them. I think it is somebody else, and I feel like there's enough clues been dropped here and there that it's a valid theory to have. It could be another red herring, who knows, but I'm having a lot of fun with this. I will say the writing is nothing spectacular. It is pretty simple. There are some repetitions here and there, especially in terms of like describing people. One person in particular is described as a jolly gnome so often in this book. Like every time he's mentioned is kind of like tagged on there, but we are having this narrated to us from Christopher's perspective, and he is like 18 years old. He's a bit silly, and I feel like he does himself a disservice at a lot of times, making himself seem silly than what he actually is, but I do like it. It's just fun. It's just an easy read, and that's all I wanted, and so that's working really well. Will I say that these are like the best writing ever? Is it going to be a new favorite series? No, but I do have a lot of fun with it, and I do think it is perfect for this time of year. I do still want to carry on with that series. I think if you're wanting something that's a little bit more lighthearted, doesn't take itself too seriously, but does have good mysteries, give this series a try. It is a lot of fun, but it is one of those ones where it's like popcorn, you know? It's sweet and easy, it's light and airy. It's nothing too substantial to it, but it's good. It's fun, you know? So that's where we're at. But yeah, as I say, I've got quite a bit I need to do today. I will probably check in with you maybe tomorrow afternoon, maybe once I've read everything and finished it all up. I don't know. I've only got one more short story to read for the Agatha Christie collection, so that's good, as I've already said. And then I have my 130 pages. So actually, maybe I will just come back in when I actually come to wrapping up this video. I'm really pleased that I changed from the Christmas murder game to this, because it's so much more fun and enjoyable, and it's got like the setting that I like with the 1920s, and it's just a lot of fun. And I feel like this pairs quite well with Agatha Christie, and I feel like Lord Eddington kind of reminds me a little bit of Hercule Poirot in a way, just in like their mannerisms. I don't know if Hercule Poirot ever had an assistant, but I feel like if he did, the assistant would feel like Christopher. And actually, oh, saying that, I was reading in The Mystery of the Spanish Chest, Hercule Poirot does reminisce about this character called Hastings. Now, I've only read short stories with Hercule Poirot and one other Christmas mystery, so I've not read loads. So I may be introduced to this character more in those other books, and maybe he is like an assistant type character, but it seems like it. From what the reminiscing part we got in the short story was, Hercule Poirot was talking about how Hastings would help him with like put things together with his cases, and he had that these quite funny outlandish theories, and he would be quite colourful about it. And I feel like Christopher kind of gives me that kind of vibe, especially when he's theorising about different things. Like, it's really fun. Those are all the thoughts, and I do have tidying up bits I need to do before I head out to my doctor's appointment, so I'm going to get all of that done, and I will catch up with you when it's time to finish this video. Oh, I'm really feeling like it is the perfect time. Everything's so nice and festive. It's lovely. Right, okay, yeah. I'm just rambling on, as always. the books. So it's time to wrap up this video, and I had a great time. I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely loved my cozy Christmas mystery reading week. Like, it was perfect to get me in that festive spirit, and I think it's going to be rounded off perfectly with the relax and readathon and the Christmas romance that I'm going to be reading, which you would have seen before this video, so I will have it linked below for you. Let's get straight into the books. So the first book I actually finished off was The Snows of Western Moor, and I did have a lot of fun with this one. I didn't get it. I thought I did. I thought I had it right, and then right at the very end they went, actually no, it's this, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. It was so good, so much fun. And like I say, look, these books are not the best written, but they are really fun and entertaining, and I really like the vibes and atmosphere that they give. There's just something about it that's just so fun, really, and it gives me that Christmas festive spirit that I am after. So I'm really pleased with it, and I think because there is another Christmas mystery after this one, I will definitely do that next year, and then hopefully next year we'll make a bit of progress in the actual series itself and read the first official book, because I do really enjoy the dynamic between Lord Eddington and Christopher, their back and forth work, and it would be really fun to see him grow as a character across the books. Like, I can notice a little bit of growth, but it'd be really good to actually see where did he start off with and then see that character growth and just really enjoy that. I think that would be really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to doing that next year. I mean, I said that last year. We'll see if it actually happens, but for definite I will at least be reading the Christmas book. They are just so fun, and I think the depictions of Christmas is so good, especially because Christopher enjoys Christmas so much, and so he really tries getting into that festive spirit with the song, Christmas tree, the dinner, like all of it is really and like he really focuses on about family, and it's just really nice alongside this little mystery that's happening that they have to solve, which I don't know, I really like it. I like the setting with all the snow, like it really works, which I'm really pleased with, which is kind of weird to say because The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding wasn't as festive as I thought it was going to be. The first book is 100%. The first book is very, very festive. It really works for the setting. The rest of them didn't even mention it. I still enjoy my murder mysteries, so I did still enjoy all of these. I read The Underdog last night and I thought that was really good, and it was actually quite interesting because the setup for this was slightly different, which I really liked. I'm not going to go into details because it would give spoilers, but it was interesting to see how we were given everything kind of up front straight away, and then we were just kind of led down that path, and you had to decide, do you stick to that or do you actually change your mind and go with it, and you'll see what ends up being true. I liked that. I thought it was slightly different to the other ones that I've read. I totally forgot to do a quick check to see how many of these I've already read, so let's have a quick look. In the seasonal collections, I don't think I've read The Underdog, but again, I could be wrong. Nope, just the one from there, which was the 4 and 20 Blackbirds. See if we've got any in the summer one. Okay, so there was none in that one, so I think it was just the two then that we had read from before. Yeah, so it was literally just those two, Greenshaw's Folly and the 4 and 20 Blackbirds, which that's not bad considering that was only 2 out of all of the... But yeah, no, I did enjoy the stories in this. Even there being like some crossover didn't really bother me too much. I still had 4 brand new short stories that I'd never read before, which I really enjoyed, and because it'd been, like I said, so long since I'd read Grenshaw's Folly, I didn't even remember it, so that's all fine. It's just, apart from the first one, there really isn't anything that is festive. It's not even like set in winter, so that's kind of just like the only disappointing bit. You could have done more, but then I guess because the are doing the midwinter one, I guess you don't want too much crossover, especially if there's only a certain number of short stories that have been set in winter. Again, we'll see if these are actually winter based. These are the ones that I'm reading over this season. I still enjoyed it. It was good. Not quite as festive as I'd hoped for. I think it started off really strong with The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding, and that really set the tone for wanting that festivities, but you don't get it from the rest of them. But it was still a good short story collection. I still really enjoyed it. Really can't complain too much. Like, I enjoyed what I read, so that's great. And then of course we did have the DNF this week, which is a shame about the Christmas murder game. It's just one of those things. It was just I couldn't get on with the writing style. I like the concept of this, but I couldn't get on with the writing style. It's also not quite cozy from what I've heard of, like, and been reading through different reviews and stuff. It goes a lot more like thriller leaning in some areas and things, and I don't know, it just for me didn't quite work, which is fine. I think I'm just gonna stick to what I enjoy, which is cozy mysteries that are from Agatha Christie set during winter and like Christmas time, because there are some more, so I would definitely be reading that next year, and then stick to finishing out the Lord Eddington series and the rest of the Christmas books. And then once I've done that, there'll be others that I can go to. I do still want to read the Benjamin Stevenson one. I don't know if I'm actually going to get a chance to read it this month, which if not, we'll save that one for next year as well. So all of these things, I think it's just one of those things where there are so many to choose from with Christmas romances and Christmas thrillers and mysteries and stuff. It's always hard to try and fit them all in inside 1 month, and you know by the time next year rolls around there's going to be even more out, so it is always having to just choose. But I'm really pleased with the two that I went. It gave me the feels that I wanted and actually continued my Agatha Christie journey, which is something I have neglected this year. Reading Agatha Christie at Christmas time just is something that I'm like, yes, I've done this for the 2nd year running. I really enjoy it. It's something I really want to continue on with. But I think that is going to be it for this week. Before I go, I have to talk about the game board I was making. This is Leandra's readathon that's happening in January. There are 3 different ones that you can choose. There's a bingo board, there's a map, and there's also this game board, which is like a take on Snakes and Ladders, which we have paws and bookshelves. It's so cute. So I spent my time recreating this. I used dog stickers for the dogs that Leandra had put on. I'm really excited to take part in this in January. I plan on doing what I did for Danny's bucket list-a-thon and rolling as I go. We're starting each week in January with doing a roll and seeing what book of my January TBR will fit these prompts, and if they don't fit the prompts, obviously having to choose something else. It's going to be a chaotic time, but I think it's going to be really fun. I really enjoyed doing it for Danny's readathon and doing it like rolling as I go, so I'm really looking forward to doing the same for Leandra's. And I had a really relaxing like half hour 40 minutes making this. Like, it was so relaxing, and all the colours are just so like peaceful. Do check out Leandra's readathon if you haven't already. I will have her channel linked below anyway. She has put so much freaking work into this, and I am absolutely in awe. I just I love it. I'm so excited. Back to the end of this video. So you have to let me know, do you like reading any festive murder mysteries? And thank you once again to Anna Luisa for working with me. And if you are still looking for some of those last minute gifts, or just, you know, a treat for yourself after all the hard work that you've put in for this festive season, have a little look. Their sale's still going on. Everything will be linked below for you. Maybe just give yourself a little treat. Why not in this festive season? But thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every single one of you. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, regardless of what you're doing. I know not everybody celebrates it. I myself am not a big actual Christmas Day person. I much prefer just having a quiet day to myself, but I enjoy the festivity, like the festive time. I like the feeling of it all. The actual day, I like to just chill and do my own thing. And so, you know, regardless of whatever you're doing, whether you're having a really big Christmas day with family or whether you're spending a quiet day for yourself, I hope you enjoy it regardless. If you've made it this far but you just don't know what you'd like to comment, then we are going to have to go with, we'll have to go with snow. And thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links and everyone that I've mentioned and the link to Anna Luisa will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.